was about the grind. Yeah, bubble grind.
Now we have a guy that could probably get in there if you...
It's game day. The Edmonton Oilers hit the road once again. Alongside Joaquin Gage and Benny Thompson, who's in for Zachary Kubish. We'll be with you for the next 2 hours on the shows. We've got lots to get through, lots of hockey to get to on the show today. We will get into the Oilers news and notes from today that, well, if you haven't heard about yet, you've kind of been on lockdown for the last number of hours, if you haven't heard any of that news. 140 Ken Boehlke of Sin Bin Vegas will stop by as the Golden Knights Ducks Game 5 tonight. That series tied up at 2 games apiece. We'll get Ken to help us preview that and his thoughts on the news between the Vegas and Oilers today. Aaron Beard from the Associated Press out in Raleigh. He'll join us to talk about this Hurricanes run that they've had. They're going to get this time off as they wait for the Eastern Conference Championships. We'll get his take on just how the Hurricanes have been playing and just Taylor Hall's emergence, all of that. He'll join us. Ken Boehlke at 140, Aaron Beard at 225. We'll have the Screw It, Let's Do a parlay coming up. We failed yesterday on this side of the camera. You and I both dropped the ball.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you...
McKinnon only had 2 shots. I think
Is that it?
I needed 3. And Benny on the other side of the camera, he got it right, although it was closer than expected.
Yeah.
You took the Thunder, and they still almost didn't even hit it. So today we're going to have to do Screw It, Let's Do It. Back to the drawing board once again, trying to get that victory. Which team will Iwanyk change his allegiance to now that the Lakers are out? Oh, wait, wrong host. Also, my mic is out of whack.
Really?
Is it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, maybe it was because we had the same problem yesterday as the same thing for this show. So I quickly replaced the.
Oh, okay, perfect.
While you were starting the show, so
perfect.
So maybe that's what he's talking about. But yeah,
because
already got tested to start off the show again. But
in my head, I sound fine, at least to me. Your thoughts always welcome. River Korean Box 780-218-9999. Tap 25 restaurant, 50% off the entire menu. Available 7 days a week from 2 until 5. Or you could jump into the nasty chat that already is read. Okay, the news of this morning was the Edmonton Oilers have reached out for permission to speak to Bruce Cassidy. The Vegas Golden Knights have not denied. They have not accepted that. They've just said, we'll get to you. We'll get to you right away here. Yeah. So we're on this waiting note. And Chris Knoblauch is still employed as the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. Elliot Friedman, I saw this tweet that I'm also going to read. On the Fan Hockey Show today, says he believes the Kings have also interest in Cassidy. Not sure whether Vegas has denied permission as well or held off on permission for them as well. Freeman also says he finds it strange they wouldn't let Edmonton speak with him. Let them talk unless there's a strong reason to block it, which for me, there is a very strong reason to block it if in the Vegas Golden Knights. And we'll get into the whole debates that we've had off air prior to this. But from a Vegas perspective, Gager, you look at the Edmonton Oilers, you know next year is such an important year that if it doesn't go well, there's a chance Connor McDavid now won't be an Edmonton Oiler. Are you not trying to stop them in any way you can?
Of course. Yeah.
Like if the roles were reversed, I don't want the Oilers to do the exact same thing to another.
Yeah. So say if the Knights are after Knoblauch and
yes,
they have fired him. Are the Oilers giving them permission to talk to him?
In the history of the NHL is yes, but should they? If you knew that, like, and again, it's hard because you have Connor here, and they don't have a Connor. But if you knew that the big one of the 2 big franchise players is this close to potentially leaving, and it's all riding on this next decision that they're like this offseason, I would want the Oilers to be like, yeah, no, we're good. We're good. I respect the game that the Vegas Golden Knights are playing right now if they are playing this game. I respect it.
Yeah, it's devious. With Dusty and I mentioned, it's someone in the chat said it's dark, like Sith Lord type of Star Wars devious Emperor stuff, Darth Vader kind of stuff that the Vegas Golden Knights are doing in this case. Because, I mean, what do they have to gain from it? I'm trying to think. Okay,
what do the Golden Knights have to gain?
Nothing.
What they have to gain is the Edmonton Oilers have a struggle season.
Are struggling right now.
And Connor McDavid wants to leave after next year. Whereas the flip side is you allow Bruce Cassidy to go, and maybe Bruce Cassidy goes and takes him to the Cup final. The window opens up back up, and McDavid says, okay, I'll sign a 6-year extension. And now you're stuck with Connor and Leon in your division with this team that you've got this budding rivalry with, that they're still there. That's what you have to benefit for Vegas if you are, look at this if you're Edmonton. People are scared of you. That they're even playing games with coachings. But that's what you have to gain, is that if things continue to go like the direction that Connor and Leon said, which was backwards, you might lose Connor and Leon, and you don't have to deal with them in your division.
The Sharks don't have a coach under contract as of right now, too, right? So hypothetically, the Sharks come calling. Do the Vegas Golden Knights act the exact same way?
Well, that's where Ellie Friedman's saying he doesn't know if the Kings have. How is this? He's not sure whether Vegas has denied the permission with them as well. They are a team that is looking for a coach.
It's all about threats, do you think?
Threats?
Like in terms of like who can take over the division? Because like if Vegas lets LA talk to Cassidy, they must look at LA and go, okay, Cassidy ain't changing anything over there. But if it's Cassidy and Edmonton, okay, maybe that changes the trajectory of the
That's what I would think. Like if I think you're right. Like I see where you're going with the Sharks, or if the Ducks happened also.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want them to have a coach that I think is going to help them. Go have him in a year. You want Bruce Cassidy so bad, wait a year.
Mm-hmm.
If Bruce wants to go to you, he can wait a year. I respect that gamesmanship. I know it sucks from Oiler fans that wants Bruce Cassidy. I know there's a lot of Oiler fans that think the Golden Knights are a trash organization right now for doing this. But if the roles were reversed, and we're talking about the Oilers stopping a division rival from getting better, it'd be like, damn rights.
I just think it can be like, I from the gamemanship, yes, totally agree. But for me, if I was Vegas management, I'd want to have respect for Cassidy and allow him to find employment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but this isn't about, to me, professional sports isn't about being nice always.
But he coached you to a Stanley Cup.
Cool. Don't go coach the Edmonton Oilers. Go coach the LA Kings.
See, that's ruthless.
Here's 29 other teams in this league. Go coach one of them. Do not coach that team. That's what, here, go speak to the LA Kings. Have fun.
Yeah, I guess.
Be in LA.
But it's like, I don't know. Bruce Cassidy, he brought you to your first Stanley Cup as a franchise. There for 4 years. It's been reported that maybe he's not the most loved by the players, but I mean, seemed like an organization standpoint, he was very well liked. I don't know. To me, I would think that they'd want him to go find a job, and I guess what you're saying is there's 29 other teams you can go to, but
in theory, there's not really 29 other teams.
Yeah. So,
but but this is the Vegas. They just sent the Flower off. He was the face of the franchise. Brought him in. Said Marc-Andre Fleury, thanks for your service.
And they got rid of everyone.
Yeah. They don't have any alliance for any guy that's on that team. Like if they don't have a no move clause, heads up, you can be traded any minute if you're in Vegas. That's how they've been. So I guess there is that too. This is very on brand for Vegas. So.
It's many of the I think it's a joke that you could fire someone and still have control of them. That's contracts. That's in the business that I am in radio. I've seen it multiple times. I've seen individuals have to go work in Calgary to come and work there for a year till they could work in Edmonton. I've seen an individual that wanted to work at a Starbucks while they were let go weren't allowed to because they were collecting the severance pay. There's non-competes. There's different levels of these contracts. If the Edmonton Oilers ultimately fire Chris Knoblauch, teams are going to have to reach out to the Edmonton Oilers for permission to speak to Chris Knoblauch over the next 3 years because he'll be under contract. That's just how the world works. That's not even a hockey level thing. That's just kind of how the world works in ways.
And Bruce Cassidy could say, I quit, too, and get out of his deal.
Well, he'd be out the $4.5 mil for the next year.
Yeah.
But the flip side is I would love to see an NHL coach's contract to know about non-competes. Because if he really wants the Edmonton job, why isn't he just doing that right now? But there's maybe something in play that doesn't allow him possibly to just go do that.
There could be.
He was relieved of his duties. He wasn't fired.
He was not fired from the organization.
He
wasn't he fired? What happened in Boston? Didn't he get hired like within a week? Wasn't he hired, or was that Montgomery?
That was Montgomery.
Montgomery
in St. Louis.
Yeah, he was
When
let go in Boston.
He was let go in Boston. Was like
and
hired
they
the
got
next
rid of Drew Bannister
who had
after
only
like
been
9
coaching.
games or whatever.
Yeah.
He was their assistant coach the year before.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's a little weird because they've relieved him of his duties, so technically he's under the organization still, which is why they have control over him.
They're under contract.
Yeah, it's smart by them. I think they knew what they were doing.
You think this is a bad look on the Oilers?
Yeah.
Benny, I don't want to. You kind of think this is a bad look on the Oilers?
I think so. I think it'd just be ridiculously hard for Chris Knoblauch to go back into that coach's room at the start of the season and act like this didn't happen. Personally, I just think it seems like there's already been a divide between coaching and management and that whole deal. There's already I don't think they're already on great terms, and then you have this come out. I can't imagine Chris Knoblauch is feeling great right now.
It's not the first time this has happened.
Yeah.
This happens probably
Chris
multiple
Knoblauch
times.
got the job.
As a coach.
He negotiated. He would have had to negotiate with the Edmonton Oilers while Jerry Woodcroft was employed as the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
I think who was coach? Did he coach the next game after?
Jay Woodcroft and Dave Madsen won against Seattle on Saturday.
Yep.
Sunday morning, Jay Woodcroft and Dave Madsen were relieved of their duties with the Edmonton Oilers, and Chris Knoblauch was announced as the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers and was at a press conference in Edmonton on that Sunday.
and then played the Islanders on the
Tuesday. Which means that they didn't negotiate that within
there was no other
4 hours.
But there was always a head coach on the bench for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yes, there was never a.
So they had obviously reached out to the Rangers because he was coaching Hartford or something.
Yeah, they reached out to them after the San Jose loss on the Friday or whatever it was.
But they had already fired their coach though.
They did not. He coached the next game.
But in the management's
Jay
eyes,
Woodcroft,
they knew he was fired.
Jay Woodcroft coached that next game with Dave Manson. So like in that aspect, because there's different levels to this. In the aspect of reaching out for permission while you still have a coach employed, this is not unheard of. This happens. John Tortorella got his job because the Golden Knights spoke to him while Bruce Cassidy was still the head coach of the Vegas Golden Knights.
But we didn't know about it, man.
I know, but here's where if the Vegas, generally when you reach for permission, you're generally going to be given the approval right away. You're not sitting and waiting.
You think this was a shock?
I wonder if the Edmonton Oilers they reached out for approval. LA has reached out for approval, and we have to wait. So the Oilers are sitting there waiting for this to happen because and then they'll make the moves once they could talk to Cassidy, get the contract done, then they can make it all announcement at once. And yet Vegas is playing these games, which again, I'm in favor of all these games. Now, why does this leak? It's leaks one of two ways. Either the Golden Knights are leaking this to try to cause some more problems for the Edmonton Oilers as they're waiting on this, or the Oilers are leaking this to try to get the Golden Knights to let's move on this. Let's go. Mm-hmm. Make a decision. Mm-hmm. We get that you're in the second round, but there are days off. Pick up the damn phone or open up your Outlook and send us an email giving the approval or not.
Yeah, are you wondering if they're trying to get the league to step in and try to speed it up?
Well, even just public pressure. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Bruce Cassidy wants to coach. Here's the other thing too. The Golden Knights on theirs, they need to. You brought it up on two guys. They need to go get a coach at the end of this season.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did the Oilers put this out there so other coaches go, what's Vegas doing? Because in Frank Seravalli's piece, he says a lot of coaches are not happy right now with this. Did the Oilers put this out there to make the Golden Knights have a tougher time as they get ready to go for a coaching search?
Maybe, yeah.
It's true.
But to me, I just think with the way things have gone, it doesn't look good that the Oilers have reached out. It's not working in the way that they wanted to. It seems like another issue that's gone awry. And I mean, the last thing I think that they would want at this point is to have this to happen and be out there, that they couldn't get their guy. Because what happens now if they don't? Now it looks like, oh, we didn't get this guy.
what happens is
Knoblauch comes back, and he has to be professional. I get
100%.
that. I get that.
just like players would have to.
But it's not for a team that wants to accomplish something as big as winning a Stanley Cup within the next 2 seasons to start the year off in an environment that it's not a cohesive unit from top to bottom. I just have a tough time thinking that that's going to be a successful venture into the 2026-27 season.
Sure, and I get that. First press conference of training camp, Chris Knoblauch's asked, "What do you think about coaching this team when they tried to hire Bruce Cassidy?"
Oh yeah,
Right? That's
opening
right
question.
there.
100%.
I get that that's going to be around the organization.
Speck's not going to put it that nicely. He'll probably start with,
They
"These
don't
guys
want
didn't
you."
want you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it like to be back here or something?
Yeah.
I
What's
get
it
that.
like to be the second choice?
But there are like Glenn Gulutzan, by all accounts, was actually, because he had survived a few head coaches at one point, that he was getting frustrated. And he was tired. And he wasn't going to finish out the year. And I think it was under Jay was on the Woodcroft when that one was happening. He was ready to walk at the end of the season. But something happened after, that when those moves happened, that he stuck it through. He stuck around. He stuck with this organization. That things can change. Things can improve. Here's the other defense that I'll have of the Edmonton Oilers here on this, where I don't think it's a bad look. I'm not saying this is a great look for the Oilers. I don't think this is a bad look on the Oilers. That they may also sit there and go, there's only one coach that we believe is better than Chris Knoblauch out there. And the only way we could find out if he wants to join us, if we could come to terms on this, is if we speak to him. And to do that, we have to go through the channels. So we have to reach out to the Vegas Golden Knights to do this. But if he doesn't want to, we are more than okay with Chris Knoblauch being the head coach of this team going into next season. But we just don't want to get caught where we fire Chris Knoblauch, all of a sudden things don't work out with Bruce Cassidy, and now we're in the search for a head coach that we don't know who's going to be. Because there's not many, we don't, I'm speaking as if I'm Stan Bowman or Jeff Jackson. We don't think that there are many guys better than Chris Knoblauch as head coach, but we think there is one, and that's Bruce Cassidy. And we have to do everything we can in the most pivotal offseason in this Oilers history to do what we can to improve this team. And if that means we got to speak to Bruce Cassidy, try to get him, it's that. But if not, we believe in Chris Knoblauch. Now, everything that's been reported through Tommy and other places, there isn't, I don't think, as much belief there. But that could be one way that they go about this. And that may be why this is happening this way, that they haven't fired him because they are actually comfortable with the idea that he could be the head coach. And for Chris Knoblauch, yeah, you got it. That pride would hurt a little bit, that they believe your organization thinks there's someone better than you, but
especially
also
someone that you beat in the playoffs.
Which is that's a good point. Mm-hmm. But you then have to come and do your job.
Yeah, I realize that. Like players have to, like you mentioned, players have to deal with that all the time. You brought up a good point with Parayko, right? How does that feel him going back? But I think it's a little bit different from a coach because you're the separation between coach and management is a lot closer than player and management, I would say. And those are the people that you see every single day, essentially, for the most part, I think. It's uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable.
I will bring
the
this
fact,
to,
like this, the other thing, and Dusty brought that up, that this is a guy that you beat in the playoffs already. You steamrolled him.
Yeah.
And you have an organization think he's the answer when you've been trying to put lineup cards together to manufacture wins for 2.5 years with deficiencies. Let's face it. The coaching is not the biggest issue here. I don't think the percentage point that would make the Edmonton Oilers a better team, is it really on coaching?
I don't think this is on coaching. I think he could have done a better job this year. I think he could have had better staff around him this year. But he did get to 2 conference or Stanley Cup finals. He beat Bruce Cassidy. He's beaten Pete DeBoer. And I know, and there's an easy, that's Connor and Leon that do it. That's what people want to go to.
Mm-hmm.
But then why hire a coach?
Yeah.
Right? Like if those guys, like we rip on in the awards that it's, well, Evan Bouchard, he's not there because people are using this Connor and Leon narrative. But okay, but the coach does something clearly. Chris Knoblauch had a role to play in the Oilers getting to 2 Stanley Cup finals. You can't tell me he had no role at all. That I could have been on that bench and the Oilers would have still got to the Stanley Cup final. No, he deserves some credit for that.
He's picking the starting goalie. He's taking certain guys, picking guys in and out of the lineup. He's putting guys in positions on certain lines to have success. And you can't tell me those trips over the last, well, not this year, but the 2 prior seasons, he pushed every single right button.
And then this year he gets it all wrong and he gets all the blame. Baptized Big U. The coach gets no credit for success and all the blame for failure. And that's what I'm getting a lot with Chris Knoblauch from like his detractors is he did, like you bring up the 2 Stanley Cup finals and he didn't do anything. Okay, then if he didn't do anything and they were just dragged to the Stanley Cup final, why didn't they get dragged this year again? Like there's a lot that goes into it. But yeah, we're on different levels here. I don't think that this is a bad look on the Edmonton Oilers. And in fact, I will go to a story with Manchester United. We're going to bring this back to soccer like I always do. We're 1 month away from Canada and Bosnia and Toronto, BMO Field for the World Cup. A couple of years ago, Manchester United was going to make a managerial change. They ended up winning a championship, the FA Cup. A lot of fans wanted to keep their manager, Erik ten Hag. They started talking to many different managers. Erik ten Hag was still under contract with the team. They ultimately decided Erik ten Hag's the guy they're going to stick with. They signed him to an extension. They went to the next season with him, and he had to deal with it. He had to go to the next season continuing. That this isn't like in professional sports, this isn't unheard of too, where you could start talking to other candidates, and that coach that you have is the ultimate one that you still stick with. That's the way I look at it. We're going to be a little bit different on there. I want to know people's thoughts. River Cranbox, 780-218-9999, or you can jump in it to the Nasty Chat. We're live in the William Huff studio. Since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading advertising solutions for thousands of value clients. Visit the website, williamhuff.com, or you could give them a shout, 780-454-4536, to learn more of what the William Huff advantage is. Ken Boehlke of Sin Bin in Vegas will join us at 1:40. Aaron Beard of the Associated Press out in Carolina will join us at 2:20. We do also have the Screw It, Let's Do a Parlay coming up on the show today. He's Joaquin Gage. I'm Matt Iwanyk. Let's get to a Benny Sports update. And on the other side, we'll continue in the inbox right here on EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports.
Frank Seravalli reports that the Golden Knights have withheld their permission for the Oilers to speak to Bruce Cassidy. After 4 seasons in a Stanley Cup, Cassidy was relieved of his duties back in late March, with John Tortorella taking over his duties as head coach. NHL playoff action continues tonight with the Canadiens and Sabres going at it at 5 p.m. before Vegas and Anaheim face off at 7:30. Some other notes around the hockey world. Charlie Coyle of the Blue Jackets signs a 6-year deal at $6 million per season to stay in Columbus. And over in the World Championships, the men's Canada roster adds Porter Martone and Dawson Mercer. In the majors, the Blue Jays are back in action after an 8-5 loss to the Rays yesterday. Patrick Corbin on the mound for Toronto. Shane McCallahan for Tampa Bay. First pitch is set for 5:07. Elsewhere in baseball, there's 14 other games on tap tonight, highlighted by the Diamondbacks and Rangers. Mariners playing the Astros, Athletics welcoming in the Cardinals, and the Giants taking on the Dodgers to end the night. In the NBA, their playoffs roll along with the Timberwolves and Spurs tipping off at 6. That series is tied at 2 apiece. And from the Memphis Grizzlies, Vancouver-born forward Brandon Clark has sadly passed away at the age of 29. The cause of the death has yet to be announced. The sports update is brought to you by Capital Care. Financial supports deeply affects residents at Capital Care. Whether it's a one-time donation or a monthly contribution, every penny counts. Find out how you can donate at capitalcarefoundation.net. More of EST Afternoons on the other side of the break. I'm Ben Thompson. You're up to date.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric.
Craig Button.
Leon Draisaitl said we've gone backwards. I've been very clear. 75 to 80% of this is on management. Go and change the coach. Bruce Cassidy's a hell of a coach. Feels like everybody wants to run Chris Knoblauch out of town. So chase him out of there. Bring in a new coach. They're not going anywhere near the Stanley Cup if they don't improve the roster. Full stop.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Some of us are walking, others are biking. Together, we are accelerating the pace of MS research breakthroughs. This May, join Sentinel Storage at an MS walk in your community. Sentinel Storage, proud partner of MS Canada.
Your home for great performances is
the River Cree Resort and Casino.
God, I wish I could meet somebody like you online. She's got me in the friend zone.
Don't miss Morgan Jay's musical comedy May 23rd.
9 p.m. show is sold out.
Second 6 p.m. show added. Tickets at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
Goodwill is
one shopper, finding something I never knew I needed. A jacket, a deal, one donor, letting go of something so someone else can move forward.
One program participant,
learning,
trying,
building skills,
building confidence,
building a future.
One purchase, one donation,
one job, one choice.
Goodwill is
the power of one, the power of one, the power of one, the power of one.
Goodwill Industries of Alberta. It all starts with one.
Somewhere, someone is sitting on a patio that is literally part of the parking lot. They're hot, uncomfortable, and bored. Do not be that person. The Canadian Brewhouse has a rooftop, real turf, misters, fire tables, patio games, big screens, and zero reason to be bored. This summer, your standards are higher than a parking lot, and you know it. The Canadian Brewhouse, Canada's best patios.
Back here on EST Afternoons, Matt Iwanyk alongside Joaquin Gage and Benny Thompson. Getting a lot. I've seen a couple of texts come in about my mic or something. So I've tried. It's apparently my mic could be hit and miss. I've tried doing some different things. I've tried unplugging it, giving my more slack. We'll see if this segment works better. Let me know if it doesn't. 1:40. So we're about 12 minutes away from Ken Boehlke, in Vegas, to talk some Golden Knights Ducks Game 5 tonight out in Vegas, 2-2 series, as well as his thoughts on the Golden Knights at this moment. Not denying permission of the Edmonton Oilers speaking to Bruce Cassidy, delaying a decision on whether the Edmonton Oilers could speak to Bruce Cassidy or not. So we'll wait and see what the Vegas Golden Knights ultimately do on that one. A couple texts coming in. Haji, from Bowman's point of view, as soon as he knows his job is secure, the most logical move is for him to fire his coach to try to get the heat off of himself. Also reduces the chance that the Oilers change their mind on Bowman. I will say this when it comes to Stan Bowman. Like, I don't think it would take the heat off if he fired Chris Knoblauch. Like, that's now like you did sign into an extension.
Yeah, it's
this is on you.
You don't want to fire him, do you?
No. This is on. Yeah. This is something you have to wear. GM generally gets to make their hire, and he hasn't done that. But he did get the ability to sign this guy to an extension, gave him a 3-year extension. And before it even kicks in, if you're firing him, that's on you. You don't get around that.
You didn't need to extend him last year.
No, you didn't. Like what?
There was a lot of extensions that.
Well, or even it didn't have to be a 3-year deal.
No.
That's where I don't think there would be. I don't believe there would be the heat off of Stan Bowman. Like, if Stan Bowman's sitting at a press conference at the Oilers Hall of Fame room alongside Bruce Cassidy, a question will be asked of Stan Bowman. Why did you make a change? What happened between when you gave Chris Knoblauch an extension and today? What happened? Why did your belief change that he was the right guy? How did 7, 8, 9 months ago did you think this is the right guy to continue to take this team, and now all of a sudden that's changed? That's a question I'll be forced to ask.
Why is Bruce Cassidy the answer?
Who lost to Chris Knoblauch in the playoffs?
To Coach Knoblauch got dog walked really in that series.
This would be a question for you, Gager. It's Bronco Nick, and I'm assuming this is in terms of possible changes. Who decided to change the PK system? Was the PK system enough for for the Oilers to go make a coaching change. That there was enough of a change right there that it didn't go well, and maybe Chris Knoblauch won't be that guy moving forward, that it's best to carry this Oilers to the promised land.
He definitely takes the brunt of it. It was, what did it finish this year? Like 74% or something? So, yeah, horrible penalty kill. And then just even worse in the playoffs. But I think these are one of those things. Is it a fireable offense? Let me answer that. I don't think so. I don't think because of the past track record of it, it has been going downhill as of late. But you also, and you got to kind of go with what guys say at times. Knoblauch said that there's a few things that he would have liked to have done at the beginning of the year to how did he phrase it? Just to put players in certain roles, I think. And I'm thinking the penalty kill was one of those areas. Now, I don't know why you have Connor McDavid on the penalty kill. I get it, maybe last 10 seconds and after, but I don't think he needs to be on the penalty kill. I understand Leon at times to get draws, but usually if he wins the draw, they get it down, he changes. But I just think all the very successful teams that I've been on, Maddie, there have been everyday penalty killers, and they're usually not your top guys, right? They're your quick, grinding, fast guys that and they take pride in that. Like I remember, just for people that remember, like Todd Marchand was a pretty good penalty killer, right? And he took pride in the penalty kill. Like he would be looking at the stats afterwards and see what they're at, and he would come in and 4 for 4 or whatever. Like there's a sense to it, and there was almost like a giddiness to get out there and kill the penalty, and that's what you need to. That's where you need to get to. And you saw that 2 years ago when they had that historic penalty kill. But I don't think it's a fireable offense. I think it's just you got to get the right personnel to do it. And it just never seemed to click this year.
Let's do little predictions. Well, yeah. Is Bruce Cassidy the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers next season to start the season?
I don't think so.
You're going to say that? Why? Is it because the Golden Knights don't get permission, or the Oilers just don't go higher?
Look,
if you just prediction, like gut.
No, I don't think he is.
Okay.
I think he is. I think this was pressure. This was releases pressure for Vegas to speed things up here. I think if they don't speed it up, I think the league might step in and go, hey, like just give him an answer here, yes or no.
But Vegas could say, well, he's fine to leave. He can then just get out of his contract. We're going to say no.
There's one other reason you might leak this. I could see maybe the Golden Knights are a little annoyed the Kings aren't moving quicker.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point.
And if or some other teams aren't moving quicker to get Bruce Cassidy, and they don't want him to go to Edmonton.
Yep.
They aren't ultimately going to fully sit there and block this guy the full permission. So they get the shield right now of we're in the playoffs. We'll get to it when we're done. We're busy. But they're hoping some other organization will step up that will also pique Bruce Cassidy's interest so that all of a sudden Bruce goes, oh, the Oilers are there, but oh my God, this opportunity. Or the LA Kings and Ken Holland go, here's $10 million. It's a fake number, but they put this out there to get pressure on the other teams to go, hey, there's a good coach sitting here. We didn't want him anymore. Don't let him go to Edmonton.
Well, how about this? What if Cassidy wanted the LA news to get out so that Edmonton would get their stuff together? So then that's why they requested for permission, and now Vegas is being the ultimate trump card here and not allowing it to happen. Because honestly, I get like LA is a nice place to live and all that. I don't know why Cassidy would want to go there. They're not winning a Stanley Cup at that core. They're to me, they're a middling team. Maybe he just wants to enjoy his maybe final couple years of coaching in a nice spot. Who knows? But I think to me, for him, he's said it on shows. He has talked about it. He's like, I want to coach now, and I want to win a Stanley Cup. I want to go to a winning team. Oilers have Cup aspirations, and they were just to the Cup final 2 years in a row. So I think Edmonton is his top choice, personally.
This
Just
could
off
also
of assumption.
This could also be Bruce Cassidy pushing the Golden Knights hand because I just want to go to Edmonton.
But he couldn't he just go? I'm not sure of the rules, but if he says I quit, I don't. You can null and void my contract for next year. He could get. I think there's a way for him to get out of his deal.
Right, but I see it, and this is where I would love to see one of these contracts. Because then, could a player not just sit there and be like, "I don't want this contract anymore. I'm out. I don't want to be paid." And then I could go. Like you have to have an agreement to then get on waivers for the buyout purpose of buyout or whatever. Like I would think the Golden Knights would be able to have a claim going. No, we had him under contract for another year, and we didn't say that this is okay.
Yeah, there's probably some sort of rule because you couldn't, as a player, they would do it all the time then and just sign with someone else. But they obviously, maybe if Cassidy even said that, they would still have his rights for another year.
You would still, like, it's a Mike Tomlin has left the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers hold his rights for this year.
It'd be good to get someone, who did I hear does, wasn't there a CFL? Oh, some guy did coaches' contracts. Who did I hear did that? Anyway. Was it?
We were literally just talking about this.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's someone that does coaches.
It was on Hello Hockey.
Yes, it was. It was.
Tommy, if you're listening, who was that?
Yeah, it's.
Tommy's probably doing 5 kilogram curls right now.
Probably.
Gord saying players do that. The team would love players to do that more often. Brandon Saad did it 2 years ago. Yes, but the team agreed to it as well. The player can't just say, "I don't like how I'm being used. Here's my contract. I'm done. Take it away. I'm going to go sign somewhere else."
Or McDavid could just say, "I quit," and then.
Well, that's
that you couldn't.
You need the team then to agree to it, and that's where I don't like. I would be fascinated on if Bruce Cassidy knows the Oilers wants him and goes, "Look, I'm going to still make my money." I don't know if he could just easily be like, "Hey, I don't want your money. Take it. I'm wanting contract null and void." And there's got to be something in this because otherwise I think Bruce Cassidy would be talking about him being announced as the Edmonton Oilers head coach already. We're late to break. He's Joaquin Gage. I'm Matt Iwanyk alongside Benny Thompson. I'm in for Hernan Salas. Benny's in for Zach. On the other side of the break, Ken Boehlke of Sin Bin Vegas will join us to talk about this as well as the Golden Knights Ducks Game 5 tonight in the second round of the NHL playoffs. This is EST Afternoons right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, presented by Play Alberta. Here's Benny with a sports update.
Frank Seravalli reports the Golden Knights have withheld the Oilers' permission to speak with Bruce Cassidy. Cassidy was relieved of his duties back in late March after 4 seasons and a Stanley Cup in Vegas, with John Tortorella taking over behind the bench. The NHL playoffs continue tonight with a pair of games on tap. The Canadiens battle the Sabres at 5 p.m. before the Golden Knights and Ducks face off at 7:30. Around the hockey world, Charlie Coyle is staying in Columbus after signing a 6-year deal worth $6 million annually with the Blue Jackets. And at the World Championships, Team Canada has added Porter Martone and Dawson Mercer to the men's roster. In Major League Baseball, the Blue Jays return to action tonight after falling 8-5 to the Rays yesterday. Patrick Corbin gets the start for Toronto, while Shane McClanahan takes the mound for Tampa Bay. First pitch is set for 5:07. Elsewhere around the league, there are 14 other games on the schedule tonight, highlighted by the Diamondbacks taking on the Rangers, the Mariners beating the Astros, the Athletics hosting the Cardinals, and the Giants facing the Dodgers in the late game. In the NBA, the playoffs continue tonight with the Timberwolves and Spurs tipping off at 6 p.m. That series is tied at 2-2. And finally, tragic news out of Memphis as Vancouver-born Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark has passed away at the age of 29. A cause of death has not yet been announced. This sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood of the Duke. Locally owned and operated since 1993, they're more than just plywood. They offer everything from doors and flooring to decking, fencing, and custom millwork. Windsor Plywood of the Duke, the experts you need to know. Ken Boehlke on the other side of the break here on EST Afternoons. I'm Ben Thompson. You're up to date.
The EST Hangout.
But at the same time, like, is it really fully good for the health?
Yeah.
And as you're drinking alcohol, you're slowly killing yourself slightly or poisoning your body.
If you don't have the 1 or 1.5 glasses of wine a day, and then at the end of the week you have like 7 glasses on one day, does that still count? Does that make it equal or no?
I believe that's binge drinking.
The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Weekday mornings 9 to 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
When you bet with Play Alberta, you give back to Alberta. That's because it's the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. So next time you place a wager on your favorite team, know that you're also making a difference across the province through Alberta's General Revenue Fund. Visit playalberta.ca/EST to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/EST. Must be 18 plus. If you gamble, use your game sense.
At Firehouse Subs, our subs are freshly toasted, stacked high, and crafted to satisfy. Each sub is piled high with premium meats, melty cheese, and toasted to perfection. Firehouse Subs brings bold flavor to every bite, all served on a freshly toasted roll. But we're not just feeding Edmonton, we're fueling it. Dig into the brisket hat trick, piled with slow-smoked brisket and melty cheese. Or go to the Firehouse Subs fan favorite, the Hook and Ladder. Made to order with smoked turkey, honey ham, and Monterey Jack cheese on a perfectly toasted roll. With 15 Firehouse Sub locations across Edmonton and the greater area, it's easy to grab a hot and hearty sub close to home. Firehouse Subs. Hot, hearty, made to satisfy.
Time for a new career in 2026? Or maybe your kid is still pondering their path. Good news! Weiss Johnson is hiring. Hi, it's Dennis, and not only are we hiring for heating and air conditioning, we're also looking for experienced plumbers and gas fitters. With the growth in residential development, there's no shortage of opportunities at Weiss Johnson. Choose your path with us. Learn from one of the industry leaders, and we will grow together. Receive great benefits and school reimbursement as well. Visit weiss-johnson.com today.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences. Plus, all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom. And from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
Here on EST Afternoons, Matt Iwanyk, Joaquin Gage, Benny Thompson, 144 here in Edmonton. Ken Boehlke says he's hopping on right away. Sinbin Vegas will join us momentarily. 19 degrees in Edmonton, 25 tomorrow. Sorry, I got to just text Ken here quickly. No? Okay. Sorry about that. I hate doing that on the air, but he's our next guest, so I just wanted to get the communications out there. Portions of this hour of EST Afternoons, they are brought to you by the Canadian Brewhouse. Taco Tuesday just leveled up at the Canadian Brewhouse all day, $3.49 new tacos and quesadillas. After 4 p.m., sip on $5.99 margaritas, $2 off Corona tankards, and tequila shots starting at $5.99. 225 Aaron Beard from the Associated Press will stop by to talk some Carolina Hurricanes in the second hour. We also will have the Screw It, Let's Do It parlay we will have to build for Play Alberta, as we need to get to 500 for the week. We don't want to fall down too early. We don't want to fall down that early in the count.
I know.
0-2 to start the week. That's not what we're going to want. So we're going to hopefully get back to it, build something a little bit later, and get a victory. In the National Hockey League tonight, you've got 2 games going on. You've got the Montreal Canadiens looking to go up 3-1 on the Buffalo Sabres. That gets going just after 5 o'clock. And at 7:30, the Vegas Golden Knights and the Anaheim Ducks will meet out in Vegas. Series tied at 2 games apiece between these two teams, which, hey, credit to the Ducks.
Yeah.
Still continuing, still going. You thought, like for me at least, I thought maybe a team that, hey, they got through the Oilers. Mm-hmm. Like, could you keep that going? and they have found a way to keep that going. So we'll see how this series has progressed. The Golden Knights have been able to take the lead each time in the series, and the Ducks have responded. The Ducks will try to go up 3-2, taking it back home, while the Golden Knights will look to, like they did with Vegas or Utah, go up 3-2 in the series, and then go finish some things off. So a couple of really good hockey games on tap tonight as Colorado and Minnesota are ready to go tomorrow, with Colorado looking to finish that series. Let's get to the Oil Country Towing hotline for Oil Country Towing, Edmonton's most trusted 24/7 roadside rescue team. Ken Boehlke of Sinbin Vegas joins us now. Ken, greatly appreciate the time. We do want to get into Ducks and Golden Knights Game 5 tonight, but quickly, just your thoughts on the news today of the Vegas Golden Knights not saying no, not saying yes, saying we'll get to you when we can, on the idea of the Oilers reaching out for permission of Bruce Cassidy.
Would they do anything different? Did you expect anything other from the Golden Knights other than like, oh, I don't know, we're still playing, I don't know. Like, it's clear what they're doing. They're just trying to make life a little bit more difficult. They're just trying to, and I don't think they expected it to get out like this, but in the end, they're going to eventually allow him to interview wherever he happens to want to interview. They're not going to want to pay him $4.5 million to not coach. So he's going to go where he wants to go, and they will eventually that's what's going to happen. Like, if Bettman needs to step in, he will. But for now, it's your classic, like, Golden Knights are going to Golden Knight.
Ken, we're hearing obviously Edmonton, and there's rumors the Los Angeles Kings. Are there any other teams lurking for the services as well right now?
I haven't heard any that's been kind of really rumored the same way that the two that you mentioned have been. However, there's one that, like, I don't know, I can't get it out of my head, and that's Buffalo. Like, I feel like if Lindy Ruff decides this is it, man, is that a good place for him. He's from Ottawa, Cassidy. I think that's a hell of a market to go to and try, and if they don't get over the hump this time, to continue trying to do it. That team's right on the cusp, which maybe is not the case in LA. Utah would be interesting, but the coach is still in place there. Toronto, I guess, is one that, they kind of cornered him into saying that he would love to coach in a Canadian market. And, does he really want the Toronto job? Like, I don't know. But yeah, I just think, like, it's pretty obvious that he's the number one candidate, and any team would be very, very lucky to have him.
Let's take a look at this series, Game 5 tonight, 2-2 series, Ducks, Golden Knights. How has this series gone in your eyes? Did you expect it to be this tight of a series, 2-2 going to Game 5? How's this series played out for you?
Yeah, I think I expected it to be tight. I figured the Ducks were better than the Mammoth, and that has certainly proven to be the case. I think the team's structure and the style is fairly similar. They're just a little bit farther along. What I didn't expect is I thought the Golden Knights would hold the kind of run of play a little bit more than they have. Game 1 and Game 2, they kind of got beat up. And I mean that more by they didn't have the puck at all. Vegas had the puck very little amounts in those games. And they started saying, we need it more. We need it more. And then Game 3 started, and they scored 1 minute into the game. They scored a shorty. They scored a power play at the end of the first period. And now you're like, oh, wow, they must have had the puck a lot more. They really didn't. Game 4, they really didn't. So it's been a lot of Anaheim controlling the style of play and Vegas kind of trying to find ways to get through it, which was the exact opposite of what I expected. I expected Vegas to have the puck most of the series. And if you told me that it was going like this, I would have said 2-2 is probably good. And I feel like that might be the case. The Golden Knights really have not played a great game in this series. They had good finishing in Game 3, but they're still waiting for that great game. And after 4 games, you start to have to ask yourself, like, is that going to come against this opponent without your captain? I think there's some real concern. That being said, can they win 2 games without it coming? Yeah, they've already have.
Ken, we definitely like to turn the screws whenever possible to our fans out east in Toronto. Can you talk a little bit about what Mitch Marner is doing, being a kind of even rumblings of if they go all the way a Conn Smythe candidate? Can you talk about his? I mean,
he's the leader. He's the clear leader for the Golden Knights. I mean, I don't know the entire league. I got to be careful with that stuff because, like, I travel and I watch the Golden Knights games, and it's like I don't get to watch a lot. I saw some of last night's game. That was wild. So I'm not going to get out here and tell you, like, oh, he's got to be better than whoever else. I'll just say, though, if the Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup, he's the leader by a long margin right now. Like, I don't even think it's close for who's in second. So that's how good he has been. He has been their most consistent player through all 10 of the playoff games that they played so far. The goals started coming in game 6 against Utah. He got a couple in that game, and then he gets the hat trick in game 3. I think he's got 6 now, which is right up there near the league lead. He's just doing all the things that he's supposed to be doing. And it's kind of wild because through 82 games, which he played all but one, missing the one being late back from the Olympics, there were games he was great. There were stretches he was good. He's never been this good, this consistently until right now. So it's like great time for him to pick to really start taking over games. And it's exactly what they hoped for. It's exactly the opposite of what Toronto said. I do want to throw in the little caveat, though, of like, boy, is it different playing Utah and Anaheim than Boston and Florida and Tampa and Carolina and whoever else Toronto played, like those types of teams. There's just a different level of like physicality to those series that these two just haven't really had. And even when the Utah series was super physical, that was when he was at his least impactful. Now, this series hasn't been as physical, and he's doing much, much more. So we'll see. But can I say anything? That's like the most negative thing I can say about Mitch Marner, which is not much.
Last one. I don't want to look too far to the offseason for the Golden Knights. We still have to see how the rest of this playoffs plays out, but it also does seem like there's a couple teams that are really strong. They'll be tough for the Golden Knights or the Ducks to get through. What's the level for you for John Tortorella maybe to stay as the head coach of the Golden Knights? Or is this, no matter what, you think whenever the Golden Knights season ends, outside of maybe a Stanley Cup, we're talking about a coaching search in Vegas?
Yeah, I think he's definitely got to get 2 more wins. Like, I think losing to Anaheim and falling in the same place that they fell last year. They are 1 win further than they were last year. You guys remember that one well. So I guess that's a step. I don't know. I think he's got to get at least 2 more. If they get through Anaheim and then they get smacked by Colorado, or they make it competitive with Colorado, or they beat Colorado, I don't think it really matters. He probably has a pretty good argument to stick around. I do wonder, does he want to stick around? Is this what he wants to be doing? Like, I think this was a unique opportunity. Like, hey, this team is borderline cup contender, if not a legitimate cup contender. You can come in for 8 games and then a couple months here and maybe win yourself your first Stanley Cup in 22 years. Like, that's not a bad option. And I've been told he's being paid pretty handsomely to do it with some bonuses the farther they go. So, like, does he actually want the grind of the expectations that are going to be on the Golden Knights next season, what we know they went through this season, which ended up getting a heck of a coach fired? And also then there's the injury situations where, like, Alex Pietrangelo is not coming back. We don't know what's going on with Mark Stone now. And that's continuously like, how many games do you get out of him? Like, he's had really good health while he's been here, and they've been in wars with Utah and Anaheim. Does he truly view this in his heart? I know he's going to tell us that he does. Does he truly view this as, I'm going to win the Stanley Cup next year, let's stick around? I don't know. I think if he wins 2 more, the Golden Knights will have him. They will say it's your job if you want it. He then would have to make the decision. If he wins 10, or what would it be? Yeah, 10 more. Jeez, this is a long thing. If he wins 10 more, then yeah, he's going to keep it.
Absolutely. I can't appreciate the time. Enjoy Game 5 later tonight.
Will do. Thanks for having me.
Ken Boehlke is Sinbin Vegas with us there on the Oil Country Towing Hotline. It was fun. Like, mentioned John Tortorella just as that guy that gets him a little far let go, but then he's only going to coach from like March on. He's going to leave it open every single year. So we're going to get through the trade deadline, and then we're going to have a special 2 weeks after the deadline where John Tortorella picks the spot he's going to with that team that's going to make that late coaching fire. And John Tortorella is just going to come in with his performance-lated, loaded contract and be like, hey, if I can get this far, I'm just going to make a little extra. Let's see what we can do.
What a gig.
He's the soft tires of coaching in the NHL.
Let's say that every year there'll be like 2 or 3 teams that are just like, we could do a little bit better.
You imagine
Let's
if
just do it.
that,
and it's going to be John Tortorella every year. We're just going to always go back to John.
I mean, so there was 2 guys that they did it to this year. Do you think you see this more often? Now? If I guess it depends because it didn't work in the island, but it's working here.
Well, but the island was...
It was different.
They wanted the coach, Pete DeBoer, they didn't want to miss out on what if they make the playoffs even, and Pete DeBoer gets hired by someone else.
Oh, okay.
We want to make sure this is our guy moving forward.
Yeah, because they signed him for...
Yeah, this is our guy. Whereas Vegas was, Bruce Cassidy's not the guy. He's not getting it done. Let's try to turn this around if we can with a John Tortorella, but really, goaltending's going to need to be fixed. A few other things that need to be fixed, but maybe just having Bruce Cassidy not around because he wore on the players. The players did not like playing for him.
Oh, he's sandpaper, man.
Then they just needed the players to breathe a little bit more in the locker room. But
Benny, you said this is what they need, huh? You think
for the Oilers?
They need the tyrant?
I think they do. The reason why is just like you've tried. Look at all the coaches that the Oilers have hired and have ran with here. Knoblauch, Woodcroft. I guess Tippett was a little bit more of a kick in the ass, but like
McClellan.
Yeah. I mean, but those teams were not going for cups though. They were looking for playoffs, but they weren't cup ready. I don't think. To me, I look at that team and the Oilers management, they did everything they could to try to make Connor happy. And we don't know if Connor knew that they were going to bring in Jeff Jackson. Didn't know if they were bringing Chris Knoblauch. But they were trying. It was so obvious that they were trying to make Connor McDavid happy in hopes that he would sign a long-term extension. Problem is, he didn't sign a long-term extension. He signed a 2-year deal. Now you're in this window of like, hey, you need a win now. And yes, you went to the Stanley Cup final with Chris Knoblauch. Great. And trust me, that team is not is much better than the one we have now here in Edmonton. But I just think they could use that kick in the ass type coach, personally. I think there's some of the coaches that could press the right buttons can help this group a little bit. I think McDavid and Draisaitl are a little bit too comfortable. That's how I read the team.
Now, here's the one thing that I'll throw, and we got to get to break. But what if you make it too uncomfortable when Connor has up for a contract extension in a couple of years and just chooses, I'm not sticking around for this?
I would rather them lose McDavid and Draisaitl trying something they haven't tried before versus just sticking with the same thing we've been seeing for the past couple of years. That's how I look at it. If Draisaitl and McDavid leave because they had too hard of a coach in their final couple of years and they didn't like him, okay, well then they were a bunch of babies anyway. Let them walk. Who cares? If they
tough Benny.
No,
I know.
But like this
but
team,
that's what I'm curious by what Oiler fan would think of that right now, because there is that level. Like the Golden Knights players did not like this guy in the end, and they wanted to move on. Now he won them a cup.
But he won them a cup. And I think that's the number one thing they need
if
to
you
focus
don't
on.
get that cup in year one, and you've got this coach signed for 3 or 4 years, and you're going, I don't like playing for this guy. Who's going to be like the Oilers going to go through a coaching change in the next season? Because they didn't win the cup and Connor didn't like this guy?
Maybe.
Or you going through a position where Connor's like, yep.
Connor would know him from Olympics and
a very short run.
Yep.
And he also didn't talk about Bruce Cassidy glowingly.
Well,
he talked about John Cooper.
Then he was an assistant coach. He was probably buddy.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in Benny's upbringing than anything else.
I share our opinion. My dad does have the same opinion as me. We're both in the same page.
I completely understand that aspect of I don't want to be scared of Connor and Leon being pissed off that they're getting pushed in the butt. Go then.
Yeah.
But there is that risk then also of, okay, it might go. It might all change. This is a very interesting offseason that we're dealing with. Joaquin Gage, Matt Iwanyk, Benny Thompson with here. In the second hour of the show, we're going to figure out what's gone right out in Carolina. Can they keep this going? Aaron Beard from the Associated Press will join us. Hernan's Noticias is coming up next for the Edmonton Elks. And we got the score. Let's do a parlay. That's all to come on the second hour of EST Afternoons right here at Edmonton Sports Talk. A clear choice for Edmonton Sports, presented by Play Alberta.
The Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne.
Every Tuesday during the season, 5 to 5:30, the Mark Killam Show here inside the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. The Elks fumble 5 times in a game. I'm going to ask Mark Killam about ball security and fumbling. So it's not going to be jokey around. We're all buddies. Hey, look, we got the coach. Aren't we cool? Like, I'm not going to gloss over stuff that happened in games if it needs to be talked about. I want to ask the questions that fans want to know.
The Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne, weekday afternoon, 3 to 6, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Looking for flooring? Paramount Flooring has it all. Sales, service, and expert installation. With options for every style and budget, open 7 days a week. We've got you covered. Quick delivery and in-stock deals. Plus, EST listeners get 10% off. Visit ParamountFlooring.ca today.
You've heard the name, but what does it mean? For over 66 years, William Huff Advertising has supplied signage from screen printing to digital to LED with design, production, and install in-house. It's a one-stop shop for all your signage needs. Edmonton owned and operated, William Huff has been trusted by the biggest companies and teams in the City of Champions and many others across the country to do the job. If you're looking for a way to get the word out about your company or event, they are the answer. Go to www.williamhuff.com. Their results speak for themselves.
Your home for great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
God, I wish I could meet somebody like you online. She's got me in the friend zone.
Don't miss Morgan Jay's musical comedy May 23rd. 9 p.m. show is sold out. Second 6 p.m. show added. Tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
The Canadian Brewhouse has a happy hour for any scenario. Had a good day? It's time for happy hour. Bad day? Oof, happy hour. Boss said great job? Happy hour. Boss said let's circle back? Ugh, definitely happy hour. Got a promotion? Happy hour. Spilled coffee on your shirt 5 minutes after getting dressed? Ugh, happy hour. So whether you're celebrating or recovering, our happy hour starts at just $3.99. The Canadian Brewhouse. Your day just got happier.
According to Frank Seravalli, the Golden Knights have upheld the Oilers from speaking with Bruce Cassidy, reporting their head coach vacancy. Cassidy was let go by Vegas in late March after 4 seasons and a Stanley Cup championship, with John Tortorella stepping in as head coach. The NHL playoffs continue with 2 games on the schedule. The Canadiens and Sabres get things started at 5 p.m. before Vegas takes on Anaheim at 7:30. Elsewhere around the NHL, Charlie Coyle is remaining with the Blue Jackets after signing a 6-year contract carrying an average annual value of $6 million. And over at the World Championships, Team Canada has added Sidney Crosby, Porter Martone, and Dawson Mercer to their roster. In baseball, the Blue Jays are back on the field tonight following yesterday's 8-5 loss to Tampa Bay. Patrick Corbin gets the ball for Toronto, while Shane McClanahan starts for the Rays. First pitch is scheduled for 5:07. There's also a full slate of Major League Baseball with 14 other games on tap tonight, including the Diamondbacks facing the Rangers, the Mariners battling the Astros, the Cardinals visiting the Athletics, and the Dodgers taking on the Giants to end off the night. In the NBA playoffs, the Timberwolves and Spurs meet tonight at 6 p.m. with their series deadlocked at 2 games apiece. And some heartbreaking news from the basketball world as Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark has passed away at the age of 29. The cause of death has not yet been released. Second hour of EST Afternoons gets going right now.
Let's go. Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. Yeah. And we gon' make you lose your mind. Woo. Everybody just have a good time. Clap. Party rock is in the house tonight. Oh. Everybody just have a good time. I can feel it. And we gon' make you lose your mind. Yeah. We just wanna see you
shake that. Back here on EST Afternoons, second hour of the show. Matt Iwanyk in for Hernan Salas alongside Joaquin Gage. On the other side of the camera, we got Benny Thompson, who's running Connor and Leon out of town.
Oh, my God.
He's in for Zachary Kubish. I believe the words were along the lines of, if they're babies, let them go. Or they are babies. I think there's something.
No. I said if they are babies because of a hard head coach, then let them walk.
Yeah.
So
basically just wanting them. He's showing them the door. That's what I'm getting from Benny there.
I mean, personally, if you're an Oilers fan, I think you'd want your top leaders to be tough and value winning at the highest.
Do you think Bruce Cassidy is the right coach in terms of his resume for this team? Is it just because he has the ring?
He has the ring. He's worked his way up. He was an assistant coach in Providence, took over as head coach.
Actually, with that, though, I will add this. Murray McCourt did point out Take away Scotty Bowman. Nobody has won as a head coach a Stanley Cup with 2 different franchises outside of like early days. Like we're talking the 30s, 40s. Well, Scotty Bowman did he did it with the Canadiens, he did it with the Pens, and he did it with the Red Wings. You can't find another head coach in the NHL who's won multiple Stanley Cups with different franchises.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
we found coaches that have won cups and taken teams back to different teams to cup finals. We found coaches that have gone to cup finals and lost, gone to a different team and won a cup final. Bruce Cassidy being one of those guys. So he took the Bruins to a Stanley Cup final and lost, I believe. But we found Scotty Bowman. We found guys from earlier days, like again 30s, 40s. But you didn't find a lot of guys who coached here, won a cup, went here and won a cup. But it has happened. Scotty Bowman being the greatest coach in the history of the game, having done that. Aaron Beard, Associated Press, will join us at 2:25 to talk some Carolina Hurricanes. Screw it, let's do a parlay to get to as well. You can get in touch with us, 780-218-9999. That's the River Cree inbox. Happy hour, 525 drinks available Sunday to Thursday from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. Let's get to Hernan's Noticias. Benny, fire one of those hit songs. For those that heard in Benny's sportscasts, you'll know this, but if you hadn't, here's the news. Sidney Crosby's added to the men's Team Canada for the World Hockey Championship. Matt Barzal has withdrawn with an undisclosed injury, but Sidney Crosby is joining. This guy doesn't have to play anymore for Canada. We don't.
Yes, he does.
He's done enough. His service, he's done more than enough. And it's impressive that this guy still goes, you want to know something? I'm going to go do a little bit more.
Now, are you watching, Maddie?
No, not as much. Now, does he go without a letter? Or does this team now have to give him the C? Is it up to Celebrini to give him the C?
No.
Or, I feel like Celebrini should offer it.
He probably does. Then Sidney's going to say, no, you got it, kid. Let's go win one.
And he's still the captain.
And that
we know who the captain of the team is.
That shows he's the most captaincy guy on the planet.
It'll just be interesting to see. And I also wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden he is the captain and Celebrini's like, no, I can't be captain when Sidney Crosby's here. I'd understand that too. But he's continuing to play. Reports are Hamilton's expected to get a PWHL franchise. A deal has been finalized with an agreement to come Thursday morning. So Hamilton will be added. Detroit's been added. It seems like Edmonton is going to be out on this round. And in the Canadian Football League, competition committee has approved rules. So they've approved various rule changes. I'll quickly run through this.
For this season?
For this season. This was the Board of Governors has approved rule adjustments that were recommended by the Rules Committee, composed of head coaches, team presidents, official associates, and the CFL Players Association. So in the final 3 minutes, there'll be a 20-second play clock maintained in those final 3 minutes of the first and second halves. Game clock starts on the snap of the first play, followed by the 3-minute warning. So we're going to that 35-second running clock throughout the game, but in the final 3 minutes, it's the same as it has been for a number of years. We are losing ties in the Canadian Football League.
All right.
If teams remain tied following a second mini games that we do, they will do 2-point conversion shootout, and they'll alternate with those to see who's going to win. So, and they do this in college football. So if both teams get their possession and we're still tied, they'll just each go for 2-point conversions. And if you get a 2-point conversion, the other team. So it's basically one play shootout.
I think they should just put a circle in the middle and have full sumo and get 2 linemen in there and sumo wrestle.
Do you remember the XFL, how they used to determine coin flips?
No.
Back in this was the great, for XFL 1, Benny, here's a sports lesson for you.
Please.
When the XFL first launched with Vince McMahon and all that, how they didn't do a coin flip to decide who gets the ball or whatever. They put a ball, I think it was 10 yards or 20 yards away.
Yeah, and two
players run for the ball.
Yeah.
And whoever got the ball got.
I thought that was the kickoff. That was the coin toss?
That was for the coin toss.
Was it? Oh,
that was to determine all of that.
Did that ever cause injuries?
In the first day, a guy separated his shoulder.
Ah, well, there you go.
Yeah. But they had it at first, like guys on opposite sides going at it. I think, and then they changed it.
What's that
before
called?
They started.
What's that called?
I thought that they came in from opposite direction, and that's how the shoulders collided.
Yeah, so then they started running together.
Or something, I think.
Isn't that called like an Oklahoma football drill or something? I know.
The Oklahoma drill is...
2 guys on their back. Get up.
It's 2 guys that they just come and they smash each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's
but that's like 5 yards apart, not 20.
Yeah, 20.
Oh, the Oklahoma drill is bad.
Steam.
But that's how. Yeah, there was a separated shoulder. It was great. Because of how crazy it was. Automatic reviews on turnover on downs. They'll all be reviewed by the replay center.
Oh, that's good.
QB's kneels to end half or game. A half or game may now end on a single kneel if the following conditions are met. Defense does not have a timeout. It's first down, and the offense wishes to end the game. There's 40 seconds or fewer. So if a game requires 3 or 2 kneels, but where there's a couple conditions met, they could just, instead of doing the formality of actually going through it, they could just be like, we're taking 1 kneel, game over.
Yeah.
Dead ball placement, this is a big one. If a kick goes out of bounds through the end zone with no point awarded, or a field goal attempt strikes the goalpost, no points are scored, obviously, in that situation as well. The ball will scrimmage from the 40. So that's where the ball is going to be placed out to. It is going to be the 40 with this field. That will have to change next year in some ways. We'll have to figure it out with the new fields. So I'm almost done. There's only 3 more things left. Team benches will be between the 40-yard lines on opposite sidelines. There will be bench violations with the emphasis for officials. Prior to the games, teams may provide officials with a third ineligible number of capable of reporting, so that's nothing really important, actually. Ineligible receiver penalty. Oh, an incomplete pass will be added to the possible outcomes available to the defending team when an ineligible receiver penalty is called. Okay, so that one doesn't happen as much. But the big things is we're keeping our final 3 minutes. There will be no more ties. All turnover on downs will be reviewed. 40-yard placement for dead balls, for balls through the end zone. And you could just end the game with a snap of a finger, basically, or just 1 kneel as opposed to 2 or 3. So those are some of the rule changes that have happened in this Canadian Football League to expect this season. Buffalo, Montreal, 2-1. Buffalo is down against Montreal. Anaheim, Vegas. That series, 2 games apiece. And over in the NBA, we just got the 1 game. Spurs, Timberwolves, that series, 2 games apiece. There's your Hernan's Noticias, which is for the Edmonton Elks. The only way to experience it is being there when it happens. Get your season seats today. Our city, our year. Lock in your season seats at goelks.com/season seats. There you go. Anything stand out to you guys on that?
Well, the big changes aren't coming until next year, right?
Yeah. Gager, yeah.
Did you see the finalists for the
GM of the Year award?
Yeah.
Bill Guerin, Pat Verbeek, Chris McFarland.
Yeah.
Billy G, I think, wins that. Just because of the Quinn Hughes deal. And now Minnesota's kind of started to take... Because it's voted...
The vote should happen before the playoffs.
Yes.
Or is it...
Or maybe... No,
there's one vote that gives you a round to the playoffs.
I believe in it, and I believe it's this one. I believe.
Shouldn't that be Coach of the Year?
Probably.
Like, if we're going to sit there and say that we're going to allow playoffs to play into awards, GM did their job prior. Like, they can't do anything.
They can't do anything in the playoffs.
I think that's more on the coach.
Yeah.
You think it would go more Bill Guerin over Chris McFarland?
I think so. I think, well, I guess it's counting this past offseason where they did a lot of good moves. And I mean, the Ranson trade was last year, so they can't factor that in this year. To me, I think the Wild made the big splash with Quinn Hughes.
Yeah.
Billy G's been in and around it for a while. He signed some really good deals. They got a lot of depth in pretty much every position over there. I think he wins it just because he's new. Like it's a newer guy. Like, to give him the name or give him the award. McFarland's been doing this for a little bit.
I will say I don't like as you're talking about this. I don't really like the GM of the Year award.
Yeah,
I don't think a good GM has a great job always. That like to build your team, it takes time. It's over a span of years to get your team to be as proper as you
every
want.
third year.
And
right, but like
yes.
or it's
No,
like
I'm
or
serious.
like do a span of
Yeah.
Because like a coach you're coaching this team that you got this year.
season.
These players, it's this season. But you're talking about like the Rantanen deal impacted this season with a move that you made last season.
Yes. But also, though, what you're not mentioning is teams, sometimes GMs are doing a really good job at the bottom of the standings, right? Like Mike Greer has been fantastic for San Jose as a GM. And I know they almost made the playoffs, but like last year they were a bottom feeding team, but they did a fantastic job of getting young guys and selling guys high.
And he's setting himself up for
future years. Exactly. Kyle Dubas, to me, I thought he did a fantastic job in Pittsburgh. Picked up the right guys that that went to Pittsburgh and popped off Mantha, Chinnikov, and then he made the Jari trade and got Brett Kulak, who then flipped for a similar defenseman, Gerard, and got a second for it. They have a million picks from my understanding. Like, they have like second rounders galore. But and so I think Kyle Dubas could have been a nomination for this, but obviously, they made playoffs, but not one of the best teams in the league.
I'll just do a hypothetical. Hurricanes meet the Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup final. Those GMs did a fine job, very good job of getting their team to the Stanley Cup final. Last year with Stan Bowman, the year before it's Ken Holland. It's not like it's just the 1 year that Stan Bowman did not build a team that got the Oilers to last year's Stanley Cup final alone. Did he do things that helped? Of course.
Mm-hmm. But
there's a lot of Ken Holland.
That was more Kenny. Yeah.
I look at the GM of the Year award and I sit there and go, well, actually, to be like a great GM, it's almost it's the accumulation of things that you've done for a number of years to get there.
It's like Bill Guerin should the cojones to buy out Suter and Parise way back, right?
The fact that didn't tank him.
Yeah,
I know.
And he
when
built
you look
around
at those buyouts and the amount of money that was
they had like
dead.
15 million dead cap for a year or two, and then I think
it shot up.
I think it got like 20.
Yeah,
I think, or
it
something.
was gross.
And you sit there and you're like, Bill Guerin, what are you doing?
Yeah,
and
it's
no, they were
finally next year
competitive
going to
the whole
1.6.
Yeah.
Like
that's nothing.
they're still paying him for 3 years, but for him to do that and the Kaprizov signing, Hughes signing, the extensions, the Eck drafting, Boldy.
A lot of
Faber.
They nailed
Faber
it.
trade.
They nailed their little retool.
That's what they should have, a GM award that goes out every 5 years.
Yeah.
And then look at their track record and what they've been able to accomplish.
Yep.
Year by year, that's tough.
Or year by year, you're looking at, hey, what's this team look like over? I guess it'd have to be every 5 years or something. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
3 years.
3 or something. But every GM says it's my 5-year plan. Right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's what from the time a GM is taken, you take into account the years when he was hired and how well the team does, or evaluate all his moves.
James, because you say Kyle Dubas.
Yes.
James in the Nasty Chat says, what was more impressive, in acquiring Quinn Hughes or moving Tristan Jarry?
It's funny because that's actually a comparison. That's Quinn Hughes' deal was tough to make because you got to have the right assets for it, and they did. But Tristan Jarry was literally on waivers last year, and
he's off your books.
And he's off your books.
Skinner's
and
off your books. Kulak's
and
off your books.
Kulak.
And you got Kulak in a second-round pick for it. Like, that's...
Well, they got 2 second-rounders.
2 second-rounders and Sam Girard.
That's what they have going into next season from that deal.
Yeah.
One's off your books. The other 2 are off your books. You end up with 2 seconds.
And the goalie you got was playing in the first round for you. Even though he looked great near the end, but like he played a good stretch of hockey for you there too. So I mean, that was a masterclass trade. I mean, we talked about it on here. Like it was a horrible trade from day one for the Oilers.
Castor 1990, Commissioner Quinn, in a role with Explorer Edmonton, said that on the news the other night that Edmonton won't get a PWHL team until it gets the right size arena. I guess the Expo Center is too small. They don't have the ice plant at the Expo Center anymore, I believe. I believe that's been removed. The other thing, too, though, we had Jolene Latimer on, and she's been rather connected. And she pointed out that we had the 2 PWHL games this year, and especially the last one. It wasn't sold out. It wasn't a packed barn. And just from a perspective of Edmonton, you could give me your reasons of why it's not. But from a league perspective, that they saw that and went, oh, they didn't sell this out. Okay, maybe, and then that caused them to, like, if Edmonton had sold out both games this year, I think there would have still been more of an interest to put it here, but that kind of maybe put a little cold water on the idea of coming to Edmonton is the fact that we had a couple games this year, and like last season, so not this year, the year prior, sold out Rogers. This year didn't sell out Rogers, and it's like, oh, so is your interest waning? Do you just like, and then it'd be, well, it was a weeknight, and we can't go, but then it's like, okay, well, regular season's weeknight, so do you want this team? And that may have hurt the Edmonton when it comes to the PWHL as well.
What kind of size arena are they looking for? Like
you need 10 plus.
Yeah. So I wonder, like, because like the Oil Kings play out of Rogers, and they just don't sell the upper bowl.
Bowl.
The other part that it would also hurt Edmonton is that the PWHL does not have owners.
Yeah,
it's a single entity owner of the entire league. Mark Walters, who owns the Dodgers and the Lakers. OEG wants to own their teams, kind of thing. All right, like so. Do you want to work that fully out? This is EST Afternoons right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports. When we come back, let's talk a little Carolina Hurricanes. I won't lie, I haven't really watched anything about them these playoffs. I want to get a little.
I watched last game
that they played the overtime win. Little insight, how Taylor Hall's doing. Is this sustainable? Or is there fears of the conference final? Aaron Beard of the Associated Press, he's going to join us in the next segment to wrap up the show. We'll get to screw it. Let's do it for Play Alberta. He's Benny Thompson on the other side of the camera alongside Joaquin Gage. I'm Matt Iwanyk. We're back with Aaron Beard on the other side. This is EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk, a clear choice for Edmonton Sports.
Frank Seravalli reports the Vegas Golden Knights have withheld the Oilers' permission to interview Bruce Cassidy for their head coaching opening. Cassidy was dismissed by Vegas back in late March after 4 seasons and a Stanley Cup title, with John Tortorella taking over his role. NHL playoff action rolls on tonight with 2 games on deck. The Canadiens host the Sabres, and at 5 p.m. before the Vegas Golden Knights square off against the Ducks at 7:30. In other NHL news, Charlie Coyle is staying with the Columbus Blue Jackets after agreeing to a 6-year contract worth $6 million per season. Meanwhile, at the World Championships, Team Canada has added Sidney Crosby, Porter Martone, and Dawson Mercer to their roster. In the major leagues, the Blue Jays continue their series with the Rays tonight after dropping an 8-5 decision yesterday. Patrick Corbin is on the mound for Toronto, while Shane McClanahan goes for Tampa Bay. First pitch is set for 5:07. Across the majors, 14 other games are scheduled tonight, including the Diamondbacks taking on the Rangers, the Astros hosting the Mariners, the Athletics facing the Cardinals, and the Dodgers battling the Giants. Over in the NBA playoffs, the Timberwolves and Spurs hit the floor tonight at 6 p.m. with the series tied at 2 games each. And lastly, tragic news out of the NBA as Vancouver native and Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark has passed away at the age of 29. No cause of death has been announced at this time. Aaron Beard on the other side of the break here on EST Afternoons. I'm Ben Thompson, and you're up to date.
Worksite ready, Western tough. Lamley's Workwear is calling all tradespeople, oil and gas crews, construction workers, farmers, and hard-working Canadians. Built for the job with quality craftsmanship, job site protection, and cowboy-worthy durability. Trusted brands like Airy at Work and Wrangler Rigs, designed for performance and all-day comfort on the toughest sites. No matter the season, Lamley's has the workwear you need. Shop the full range now at lamleys.com/work.
LAMMLES.
When you cater with Royal Pizza, you're getting the same great pizzas, pastas, and salads you love, just bigger and built for a crowd. Perfect for teams, offices, or parties, Royal Pizza's catering brings real value around $10 per person. Delicious, high quality, and easy. If you like their pastas, you'll love their catering pastas even more. Visit royalpizza.ca or contact your local store for exact pricing and details.
So come on home, Royal Pizza, still making it great.
Goodwill is
one shopper, finding something I never knew I needed. A jacket, a deal, one donor, letting go of something so someone else can move forward.
One program participant.
Learning.
Trying.
Building skills.
Building confidence.
Building a future.
One purchase, one donation,
one job, one choice.
Goodwill is
the power of one. The power of one. The power of one. The power of one.
Goodwill Industries of Alberta. It all starts with one.
Your home for great performances is the River Cree Resort and Casino.
God, I wish I could meet somebody like you online. She's got me in the friend zone.
Don't miss Morgan Jay's musical comedy May 23rd. 9 p.m. show is sold out. Second 6 p.m. show added. Tickets at rivercreeresort.com. River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement, bet on it.
When you bet with Play Alberta, you give back to Alberta. That's because it's the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. So next time you place a wager on your favorite team, know that you're also making a difference across the province through Alberta's General Revenue Fund. Visit playalberta.ca/EST to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/EST. Must be 18 plus. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Back here on EST Afternoons. Matt Iwanyk, Joaquin Gage with you here alongside Benny Thompson. A reminder from 3 until 6, we do have the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne right here in Edmonton Sports Talk, and then on our audio streams at 6 o'clock, VIP Golf Show replay with Murray McCourt. Portions of this hour of EST Afternoons brought to you by Lamley's, built for the job made with quality craftsmanship and designed for job protection with cowboy-worthy durability. Visit lamleys.com/work to see how Lamley's can make your workday better.
LAMMLES.
Where we've got 2 games going on tonight. Golden Knights, Ducks, Habs, Sabres. Wild Habs go tomorrow. All these teams are playing, and there's one team that is sitting around. That's the Carolina Hurricanes. They're waiting for these series to end so they could get playing hockey. I wonder, are they hoping that the Canadiens go and win this in 5 and so that they then can know who their opponent is, but they're not, or do they want them to be banged up? But the Carolina Hurricanes want a little more insight into how their playoffs have gone. And joining us from the Associated Press out there, it is Aaron Beard on the Oil Country Towing Hotline. Aaron, greatly appreciate the time. For the Carolina Hurricanes, let's start. There's going to be a little bit of a delay here between games from them eliminating the Philadelphia Flyers and them playing in an Eastern Conference final game. For you, is this a good thing for the Hurricanes? Is this a bad thing? Is it a mixture of both? How do you take this layoff that the Hurricanes will be dealing with?
Yeah, look, this is a familiar scenario they've already dealt with once, right? They were the first team to play a game in the playoffs, then the first team to advance when they swept Ottawa. So then they had basically 6 full days off, 7 days from the end of the Ottawa series to the puck drop on the Philadelphia series. So they already have gone through a long wait where you're kind of like, okay, do you really want to, rest versus rust, that whole thing. And they came out in the first game of the Philadelphia series, dominated the opening period, and ended up winning 3-0. So Rod Brindamore talked about this already in the sense that, okay, this is not something new. This is a team that just went through a long break, and they handled it like they needed to as far as, guys were ready, guys healed up from the nicks and bruises that every team has. They came out fresh and ready, not just physically, but mentally. So he was kind of like, well, the plan worked last time, so we're going to stay with the plan. And that was sort of the way that he talked about it after they closed out Philadelphia. I think there's one thing that's worth noting about the Hurricanes is so much of their style and their success is predicated on, they get in your offensive zone, in the offensive zone, they keep the puck there, they keep pressure on, they go after puck battles. A lot of that is a cumulative kind of grinding effect where maybe you pressure other teams, you wear them down. It's a lot about effort and energy and work ethic, right? A little bit appropriate for a Rod Brindamore coach team. Well, in that sense, fresh legs and, a mental reset probably means more to them than the idea of a risk of rust from the extra time off.
Aaron, what's the biggest difference that you see? Does it look exactly the same? Because when I watch the Hurricanes now, it's very difficult to distinguish which line is out there because they're all so similar. But with the addition of Nikolai Ehlers, and people in Edmonton are quite familiar with Taylor Hall looking really good right now, are those 2 players just added spices into this Carolina makeup for this run?
Well, I think they help. I mean, look, we'll start with Hall. They got him in the deal last season that was part of the Mikko Rantanen deal. It was it was a 3-team trade and got him out of Chicago. So he went through the tail end of last regular season and last year's playoffs with the Hurricanes. And even he admitted he got an extension. Then he said, but it took a little bit of time to kind of get comfortable to understand all the things that the Canes want to do. Well, now fast forward a year, he's had an entire season, with the Hurricanes and playing through all this. And then he's got these 2 kids basically in Logan Stankoven and Jackson Blake who, are keeping the veteran, the old 34-year-old young, right? But in all seriousness, like they are playing so well together. They complement each other well. They're playing hot. So some of this, I think, is Hall has found a perfect fit for him right now, and working with these young kids. And also, he said, before, I just wanted to win. If you look, there was a lot of years to start his NHL career. He wasn't in the postseason. So now he's playing for a contender, and I think he kind of took the approach that I'll do whatever it takes to win. I'll fit whatever line. I'll make this work, and it's fit beautifully. Ehlers, that was a huge get for them last year. Arguably the top free agent around. So much of what the Hurricanes have said was, or people have looked at the Hurricanes with a weakness and said, do you have enough high-end finishers or dynamic talents, right? You went after Jake Gensel 2 years ago. It was Mikko Rantanen before. What Ehlers has done has really fit them well in terms of open ice speed, the ability to, enter the zone and, bring the puck into the tough areas of the ice. He really gives them an upside that is not in their top line. They looked at that for a little bit, putting him in the top line. He's playing the third line with Captain Jordan Stahl and Jordan Martinook, the skill guy on an otherwise kind of two-way checking line, if you will, right? But his skill set, his ability to push the puck, in across the ice, and when he's open, get the puck into the zone, like all that is upgraded what Carolina already wants to do with puck possession, getting the puck to the other end. And one other thing too, don't forget, trading for Keandre Miller from the Rangers last year. Mm-hmm. That added a strong skating defenseman who can help on the power play on the blue line. They added pieces that complemented what they wanted to do with a veteran core that's been there a lot of years. And these pieces have really shown up well in the postseason.
We're with Aaron Beard of the Associated Press talking Carolina Hurricanes. This Hurricanes team, they're in their third conference final the last 4 years. In 22-23, they only lost 3 games before they got swept by the Panthers. Last year, they only lost 2 games in the first 2 rounds before they lost in 5 to the Panthers. And then they've also had, from some, maybe looking at a little bit of an easier path to get in the conference finals than some other teams might have to go through in the playoffs with the Sens and the Flyers being the last team in, for clinching a playoff spot. Is there any trepidation from past wounds of the conference final the last number of years, or with the path here from any Hurricanes fans, or do fans in Carolina and all feel like this is a team that's ready to take that next step and get back to a Stanley Cup final?
Can the answer be both?
Okay.
I mean, in all seriousness, I think there's some truth both ways with that. I don't think the issue of who you played in the playoffs to sweep them, I don't think that matters that much, honestly. The Canes want to play the Canes type of game. They talk all the time about we got to get to our game, whether we're playing Colorado as the best team in the regular season or whatever, the last team into the postseason, right? That if they do what they're supposed to do, they'll give themselves a chance to win. So I don't think that part matters as much. I do think, there has been, it's like you said, this is 3 Eastern Conference Finals now in 4 years. 3 years ago now, 2023, they were swept by Florida. They lost 4 one-goal games, one of which was 4 overtimes.
Yeah.
They just came up a little short. Last year, they get to another shot at Florida, and they go down 0-3 in the series. And I don't know if that's specifically, you might say that part of that is Florida has just been that good these recent years, and going to these cup finals and winning the cup. How much of that is cumulative experience that the Canes have now gained from that? Like you talk about scar tissue, the Hurricanes have it, in that regard. And I do think getting to this point has been sort of this roadblock that people have been talking about for a year. It's been something that they've been great in the regular season for year after year after year. It's almost been like they're going to get to the playoffs. There was nobody questioning whether they were going to make the playoffs. It was, what are you going to do in the postseason? But you got to get there, right? You got to be playing well when you get there. So they checked all these boxes. Now they've brought themselves back to this, to get another shot at beating, passing this obstacle of the Eastern Conference Final, no matter who they play, against Buffalo or Montreal. I think that's a real thing. And if they come out and they lose game 1, I'm sure the fans will be, oh no, here we go again. Because it's been a rough stretch in these Eastern Final games, even in the games that have been close. If they go out and win, the Canes fans will be like, oh, see, we were waiting all this time and they were ready to make the leap. It's just hard to know in that regard. And it's hard to know, too, frankly, how the locker room would take that. Like, if you go out there and lose game 1, no one expects them to go 16-0. At some point they're due to lose just because all teams do in the postseason. But, considering the history of the last couple of years in the Eastern Finals, I do wonder how much like an early setback might impact mentality, right? Or confidence. But the way they're playing right now, like confidence, they seem confident, they seem at ease, and it seems like they look at it as though they've seen about everything they can possibly see in 8 straight postseasons now.
And between these two teams, Buffalo and Montreal, which in your mind would bring out the best in this Carolina Hurricanes team?
That's a good question. I think, well, look, Montreal won the regular season games. against Carolina, right? And they've been, I mean, look, I thought Tampa was, maybe the other team that might come out of that side of the draw. And Montreal won that and did that. Game 7 was just incredible to win a game like that, and advance against a team as good as Tampa has been historically. So, and look, I don't think it necessarily matters who they play in terms of, again, the focus for them is going to be, if we don't get to our game and do what we need to do, we will lose. It doesn't really matter which opponent, but if we get to our game and do what we can do, we're going to be positioned to win. I think they look at it pretty simply like that, but the way Montreal's playing and the fact, I don't put too much stock in, regular season results. I mean, the Canes, I think all regular season games against Philadelphia went to overtime or shootouts. But they ended up sweeping them, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that to me, you pair what Montreal's been doing in the playoffs the other night in Game 3 against Buffalo and their regular season success, that might be the kind of game that might push, series that might push the Hurricanes, to show, their next level. Because very clearly the Hurricanes are playing well enough to keep winning, but there's levels they've got to get to. The power play, the top line, there are things that they are trying to fix or improve going into the next round, regardless of who they play.
Aaron, awesome stuff. Really appreciate all the insight. Enjoy the finishing of watching the second round of the Eastern to see who the Hurricanes face, and all the best with the rest of the series, covering the rest of the playoffs for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, it's been nice to have a couple extra days here.
Thanks so much, Aaron Beard, Associated Press, right there with awesome insight into that team. Excellent insight into that team. And
I think that if Montreal faces the Carolina Hurricanes, I think they'll give them one of the biggest tests. It'd be very difficult to sweep the Montreal Canadiens, I think, at this point. But all of a sudden, you go from the non-hockey market into the Canadian juggernaut, where
the non-traditional versus the cathedral of hockey.
And all of a sudden, you go into maybe it's tied 1-1, and you start having to have to answer questions that you have not had to deal with up to this point. And the outside pressure sometimes starts creeping in to where players on the Montreal Canadiens, that's water off a duck's back at this point, right? They're so used to the magnifying glass that they are under. And all of a sudden you roll into Montreal where everything is Canadians everywhere.
Okay, sure, but from a media perspective, being in the Eastern Conference Final, you would have been dealing with that two of the last 3 years, because the entire hockey world separates into two, having been around the last couple of Western Conference
Not
finals
in a Canadian market the last two. They went to Florida.
I know, but seeing the national medias that show up and how many people were there that you're like, oh, this person's coming. Oh, these people are coming. They're not from Canadian markets even that are coming up. That's
I know.
So there is a little bit, but going around Montreal and just seeing all the jerseys and everything, it'll be a little different. Yeah. I forgot about that 4 OT game. I remember watching that. It was wild.
Yeah.
That was a fun game. I don't know if there would still be animosity at all, because there's a lot of changes through Montreal, but there was the offer sheet situation between those two teams.
Yeah,
with there's a little something. If it's Carolina Buffalo, I would be a little worried, because that means Buffalo has really got things going again, and they might be feeling it. It's also a rematch of 2006 Eastern Conference Final for that one. I'm okay with any of the three teams out east winning. I'm not gonna lie, although I still want the Colorado Avalanche to ultimately win it all, because I'm a Joe Sakic fan. So if it means another ring for Joe Sakic, I'm happy for Joe Sakic.
Where is Kotkaniemi?
Out.
Was it just completely out?
He's either a healthy scratch or he's hurt.
Yeah, he's not even listed as injured.
Okay, so then he's a scratch. The Ducks had the same thing with Frank Vetrano.
Oh, really?
Vetrano was healthy, but they just kept scratching him.
Huh.
Yeah, so he doesn't pop up. Are you on daily faceoff?
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't pop up. He's a scratch. So. I mean...
That was a fun back-to-back.
That was, Well, Aho accepting the offer sheet.
Was it one time or back-to-back something?
It was, so it was Aho accepting an offer sheet from Montreal. Yeah, Carolina matched it. So then Carolina, in spite of that, went and offer sheeted Kotkaniemi, a ridiculous deal, and Montreal couldn't match it. So then they got Kotkaniemi.
And that was that season?
No, that was
the next year.
Or 2 years after. Something like
that was fun.
Did they sign extensions at all? Are these the same two deals from the offer
Kotkaniemi
sheets?
signed a 1-year deal for, I think it was $6 million.
Yeah,
something
right.
around there. And then he signed an extension the next summer.
Okay, so he's got the huge extension.
Yeah.
What about
he signed until
Aho?
2030.
Aho was like an 8-year deal at like just under $9 million bucks or something.
Oh, it's 9.7 now.
Oh, not 9.7.
Let's
Okay,
take a
yeah,
look.
that's the deal.
That's the deal?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the deal.
Yeah. Because so that is a little bit higher than I think at the time he was probably looking at 8.5.
Yeah.
But Montreal was trying to be like, all right, like let's see if they're willing to go to almost 10 for this guy. And Carolina's like, oh yeah, sure.
Oh no, that's a different contract.
is it?
Yeah, they're different contracts because it was 2000. It was back in 2019. He signed the offer sheet.
What was it? Was it 8?
And they officially matched the offer sheet. It was 5 years, $42.27 million.
5 years, 42.7?
27.
42.27.
Yeah.
Divided by 5. That is just under 8.5.
Yeah, and then he signed the contract extension in July of 23, which is 8 years, 78, which is 9.75 AAV.
Okay.
So that, I was all the way back in 2019. Feels like yesterday.
And Kotkaniemi's still on that Carolina team.
Yeah.
So.
And he's under contract for quite a bit still moving forward.
They got tons of space. It's fine.
Okay, boys. We've got a commercial break coming up here. We need to dive in. We need to focus. Because when we come back.
Don't include me in this. I won last time. You guys need to have the pep talk.
Says the guy who took the easiest thing of it all. But that's okay.
What was it, like
that's
a
okay.
minus 650 or something? Like
the thing is, you try to bump everyone up.
Yeah.
But no, you don't want it. That's cool. But I still believe in you. But we got to get in, and we need to pick 3 winners. So when we combine them, the screw it, let's do it. We're 500.
All right.
Let's get the count to even. He's Joaquin Gage. I'm Matt Iwanyk alongside Benny Thompson. This is EST Afternoons right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. A clear choice for Edmonton Sports presented by Play Alberta. When we come back, it is the screw it. Let's do a parlay. Let's build a winner here on EST.
The Oilers have reportedly been withheld permission to speak with Bruce Cassidy by Vegas Golden Knights. According to Frank Seravalli, Cassidy was fired in late March after 4 seasons and a Stanley Cup championship with Vegas, while John Tortorella was named his replacement behind the bench. The NHL playoffs continue tonight with a pair of matchups. The Canadiens and Sabres drop the puck at 5 p.m., followed by the Golden Knights and Ducks at 7:30. Elsewhere in the NHL, Charlie Coyle has signed a 6-year extension with the Blue Jackets worth $6 million annually to remain in Columbus. And at the World Championships, Team Canada's roster continues to grow with additions of Sidney Crosby, Porter Martone, and Dawson Mercer. In MLB action, the Blue Jays look to bounce back tonight after a 8-5 loss to the Rays yesterday. Patrick Corbin gets the nod for Toronto, while Shane McClanahan starts for Tampa Bay. First pitch goes at 5:07. There's also 14 other games around the Major League Baseballs tonight, with some of the featured matchups including the Diamondbacks versus the Rangers, Mariners against the Astros, Cardinals taking on the Athletics, and Giants meeting the Dodgers. The NBA playoffs continue with this evening as the Timberwolves battle the Spurs at 6 p.m. That series is currently tied at 2-2. And finally, heartbreaking news from the NBA as Memphis Grizzlies forward Brandon Clark has passed away at the age of 29. The Vancouver-born forward's cause of death has not yet been confirmed. Final segment of EST Afternoons coming right up after the break. I'm Ben Thompson, and you're up to date.
At Firehouse Subs, our subs are freshly toasted, stacked high, and crafted to satisfy. Each sub is piled high with premium meats, melty cheese, and toasted to perfection. Firehouse Subs brings bold flavor to every bite, all served on a freshly toasted roll. But we're not just feeding Edmonton, we're fueling it. Dig into the brisket hat trick, piled with slow-smoked brisket and melty cheese. Or go to the Firehouse Subs fan favorite, the Hook and Ladder. Made to order with smoked turkey, honey ham, and Monterey Jack cheese on a perfectly toasted roll. With 15 Firehouse Sub locations across Edmonton and the greater area, it's easy to grab a hot and hearty sub close to home. Firehouse Subs. Hot, hearty, made to satisfy.
When gambling, set a budget before you play. Stay informed and visit GameSenseAB.ca to learn how. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Hey sports fans, I'm Alistair Johnston with Canada Soccer. The biggest sporting event in the world is coming to Canada this summer, and we hope that you're just as excited as we are. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I can't wait to share it with the whole country.
Sentinel Storage, official storage partner of Canada Soccer.
It's the weekend, the sun is out, and everyone, yes, even the kids, are bored. Bring them to the Canadian Brewhouse. Our patios have games to keep the whole family going, rooftop views, real turf to run around on, and misters for when the summer gets serious. Oh, and we've still got the game on, always, all day, all weekend, all summer. The Canadian Brewhouse, Canada's best patios.
You've heard the name, but what does it mean? For over 66 years, William Huff Advertising has supplied signage from screen printing to digital to LED with design, production, and install in-house. It's a one-stop shop for all your signage needs. Edmonton owned and operated, William Huff has been trusted by the biggest companies and teams in the City of Champions and many others across the country to do the job. If you're looking for a way to get the word out about your company or event, they are the answer. Go to www.williamhuff.com. Their results speak for themselves.
Final segment of EST Afternoons for this Tuesday, May 12th. It is 2:47. Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne coming up from 3 until 6 right here at Edmonton Sports Talk. And then our audio streams, we have the replay of the VIP Golf Show. Benny, what's coming up with Reed and Jay and yourself from 3 until 6?
So we're going to be, obviously talking about the Bruce Cassidy stuff with Edmonton and Vegas. Sean Bell will be joining us at 4 o'clock to give his insight on all of it. Matt Shinetti will be talking about the World Cup coming up in a month from now. So thank you. It's jam-packed show, obviously, on the Reed Wilkins Show, and we'll have it all covered from 3 to 6 p.m. Later this afternoon.
Benny was a little worried with Matt Shinetti's name.
Good job.
And I said, when you screw it up, I'll just jump in and say it. And Benny crushed it. He needed the pressure. You know who'd be good under Bruce Cassidy?
Yeah,
Benny Thompson.
I'm not a baby.
Hey,
He'd be good under that.
Everyone that's watching, too, usually we have the 80 thumbs that we look for. We don't try to go nuts, but if we don't get to, I don't want to deal with Hernan gloating next week when he comes back. So can we please just get past 80?
I'll just tell you exactly what you have to say. It's because people won't give me the thumbs up.
Oh, they will.
So that's all you have to do. You just throw it on me. It's easy. I give you permission for that one.
No, he's going to gloat.
River Korean Box 780-218-9999. Happy hour 525 drinks available Sunday to Thursday from 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. You could also say it's his fault that he bans people from our chat while he's away.
Yeah,
right?
that's what he's banned. So they don't give thumbs.
They don't get a thumb, so he can come back like, oh, no, you can't. You can't do that. So that's what's happening there. Quickly, I want to get to the score. Let's do a parlay right here. But this comment, we haven't gone to this part because I did think of this in jest mostly. GSB says, can they bring Cassidy in as assistant coach? We don't know what the permission is, what they want to speak to Bruce Cassidy for.
No.
Maybe there is. Everyone says Chris Knoblauch needs experience on the bench next to him. Maybe the Edmonton Oilers are reaching out to seeing if he has interest in joining Chris Knoblauch alongside Chris Knoblauch on the bench. We don't know that. So we're back to whether it's a bad look for the Oilers or not. Maybe this is perfect.
That's all you need is
Imagine a Chris Knoblauch, Bruce Cassidy bench. Who doesn't want that? Who says no? Chris Knoblauch probably.
From the dysfunction that we heard about that was on the bench to start with, I don't think you need more.
Why would Cassidy take a demotion, and why would Knob be willing to work with his future replacement? The second part, don't have an answer. Also, he might not have a choice if they just hire him. Yeah. The first part is Cassidy knows that he's going to have the head coaching job 3 months into the season or something like that. That's possible. And hey, it wouldn't be unheard of a head coach become an assistant. A guy like Bruce Cassidy, though, it is very unlikely. I'm just saying, we don't know what it was for. Let's get to the score. Let's do a parlay, which is for Play Alberta. When you bet with Play Alberta, you give back to Alberta. That's because it's the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Edmontons rely on every day. So next time you place a wager on your favorite team, know that you're also making a difference across the province through Alberta's General Reserve Revenue Fund. PlayAlberta.ca/EST to learn more. 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense. Let's fire it. Screw it.
Let's do it. There is today. No sense in being safe. We need a huge payday.
If that's not worth 100 thumbs, I don't know what is.
We didn't find the clip. anywhere. We don't know where Zach put the clip
yeah.
or where Hernan put the clip. So there's your second edition of that. Okay, Benny, we'll start with you.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm gonna go a little off the board.
Okay, that's not the okay.
Sure.
Let's do this.
A little, just a tad. But no, it's good money. It's just more like for the type of pick I would make.
Okay.
Patrick Corbin on the mound for the Jays today. Over 2.5 strikeouts.
Okay. Let me see what we've got here.
Didn't they
Patrick
get
Corbin.
smoked yesterday?
Yep.
But that wasn't Corbin.
I know. Just
So what did you have?
Over 2.5 strikeouts.
It's allowed pitcher to record a win. Okay, I'm not seeing that initially on Play Alberta. Okay, so I can't build what this is going to be, but okay. I'm not seeing it right now.
Okay.
But okay, I'll get it. So Patrick Corbin.
Patrick Corbin over 2.5 strikeouts.
Okay, Gager.
Mitch Marner point.
Oh.
Marner, just a point.
Just a point.
Okay, I want to know what this Corbin bet might be because I have two things I'm playing with. So there's one which I think we'll know the answer. It's tomorrow. That's what I'm looking at. One might happen during our show. The other one, oh no. Okay, I got to stick with where I'm going with this one, I think. But let me double check this Patrick Corbin case. So
my dad says it's on Play Alberta.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why don't I see it?
Let me check.
Home runs, RBIs, total bases, runs, doubles, singles, stolen bases, pitchers earned runs, pitchers hit allowed, pitcher to record. That's on the player market. Where does anyone else say this is how often I go into baseball?
I'd help you, Matty, with my computer's updating.
You could go into this the same game parlay and build it, but I want to know just the odds so I could throw it up into a bet slip so I could see what our bet is possibly going to be. That's the only problem I have.
If I gotta change it, it's fine.
No, we could get it. Like it's going to go in there. I just want to see what the value. So you want it over 2.5?
Yeah, over 2.5.
Over 3.5 somewhere is plus 112. So we're looking at probably, let's say minus. Okay, I got a minus 172. Let's just throw that one in there. Gager, you've got
minus
a Mitch.
Like 365.
You got a Mitch Marner point. So let me throw this one in there. Give me a second, everyone. Minus 323.
323.
Okay, so I have two ways of going about this. One, we watch during our entire show tomorrow. And either if you both hit, we've got the entire 2 hours to watch it. Or one, we get through the majority of it, but we don't know how it ends until after tomorrow's show. Which do you prefer?
During,
yeah.
You want complete
I want
turn?
live reaction.
Yeah. Okay, so, the other one is mostly during, but we won't finish.
Yeah.
Manchester City, Crystal Palace. City needs this win to keep the pressure on to try to win the Premier League title with Arsenal. They're going to need Arsenal to still blow it. They are taking on Crystal Palace. That's minus 500.
Wow.
So I'm going with the nice, easy one here.
Okay.
You were at a 667 yeah story. Mitch Marner point is minus 323. Yeah. And if I have the Patrick Corbin right, it's about a plus 148 with a boost. We can maybe get like 165-ish.
Yeah.
If I have that right. We just need a win.
Just need a win.
We're not looking for the big payday today.
But put your mortgage on it.
Just need a win.
That's game sense, baby.
Okay, so there's your screw it. Let's do a parlay. Manchester City to win on the three-way tomorrow. Patrick Corbin over 2.5 strikeouts today against the Rays, and Mitch Marner a point against the Ducks tonight.
Come on, Mitch.
Boom. Let's get back to 500 for the week.
Mitch, suck at Toronto Leafs, Marner.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun show.
This was good.
Great conversations, great guests, great listeners.
The Oilers are just
Fantastic.
the gift that keeps on giving too.
And now we still we got the news of a coaching thing stuff, but we still don't even have press conference day. Press conference day is still to come.
I can't. I thought we would be done with them. Not done, but like we would be on and off to the summer sports. Maybe little rumblings.
Yeah.
Obviously, you throw in whatever's going into the NHL, but it's amazing.
Thank you to our guest, Ken Boehlke from Sinbin Vegas, Aaron Beard of the Associated Press. Thank you to all you listeners for tuning in, for texting us in the River Cree inbox or in the Nasty Chat, even though you're taking shots at us for our Screw It, Let's Do It song. You could have got nothing.
Yep.
We at least gave you something. Benny, excellent job on the other side of the camera. He's coming up with Reed Wilkins and Jay Milne on the Reed Wilkins Show. Let's do this again tomorrow again, boys.
Why not?
Let's do it a third day. Let's do it a third day. On behalf of Benny, Gager, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning in to EST Afternoons right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, presented by Alberta. Reed, Jay, Benny, coming up in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.